Hello, welcome back to Laju Pork TV show. Today, there was an outburst when Akpabio's secret corruption plan was exposed by a fearless lawyer who refused to dance to his tune. And believe me, this is just the beginning of the explosive details I'm bringing to you in this episode. So if you're watching us for the very first time, kindly like, comment, share this video across all social media platforms to get those recommendations rolling in. Also, don't forget to click on the notification icon to be alerted for our next video. We'll be back shortly.
Welcome back to Laju TV show.
The home of crime scene.
Is happening in the street again.
The center of political news, celebrity gossip, religious gossip, and happenings in the society.
Join us, the voice of Africa.
My people, Begay don shele. Another time bomb has just exploded among our political leaders. As we all know, corruption is the order of the day in our country, causing citizens to complain about the dire economic situation and the need to end bad governance. This complaint recently led to a 10-day protest. Despite the heavy crowd at the protest, it became clear that Akpabio, Shettima, Wike, and Tinubu, who are seen as the faces of Nigerian leadership, are the real reasons why this country is in such mess. Just 2 days ago, a lawyer came out and fearlessly exposed Akpabio for threatening to remove her from her position. In a video, she claimed that Akpabio is behind the execution of massive money theft using other people's signature to cover his track. She also accused him of being fond of implicating honest political leaders simply because they refuse to bow to his political games. Social media is buzzing with comments on this matter. One user remarked, Akpabio's arrogance knows no bound, threatening a lawyer for not playing along with his corrupt scheme is a new low. While another user also called Akpabio's past controversial remarks, such as his infamous "let us be there eating," while the protesters are there shouting that they are already making them what? A TV show. This comment during a time of national economic hardship. These outbursts have only fueled the growing discontent with Akpabio's leadership and have led many to question his sustainability for office. These and many more explosive revelations are what you uncover in this video. So stay tuned to get the full gist.
Nobody makes any payment in NDDC without God's will, Akpabio's approval. When we first came to NDDC, on the day of going for the inauguration, he told me in the car that, Madam MD, if you don't do what I say, the same pen with which I used to sign your letter, it will be the same pen that I will use to remove you. He said the first thing I should do when I get to Port Harcourt is to change the dollars in the NDDC account. I was scared to do that. After that, he came to Port Harcourt 2 days after the inauguration. He said the first thing I should do is to make sure I change the dollars. I should remove Mr. Kaltungo from being legal and send him on compulsory retirement, that we cannot have a northerner be the head of the legal team, of the legal unit. He said I should remove all the other directors that refused to take his instruction during the time of Mrs. Agwagaga. That was the predecessor before I came. So he came also with a draft, which I've submitted, with a draft letter that I should write and put it on my letterhead, implicating Senator Mobushi for collecting contracts in NDDC. I told him that I will not, I'm a lawyer, and that whoever alleges must prove. The fact that Senator Mobushi is giving us trouble as IMC, you remember also that they did not recognize the IMC. I said I will not do that letter. He said I was ungrateful and I refused to do the letter. Dr. Cairo now said that he will do the letter. If Akpabio tells him to kill, he will kill before he asks, why did he kill? I said, for me, I will not do the letter. That we should not pay for anything like that. He said, and guess what? Akpabio never signs any documents. He will always refuse to sign, but he will tell you to go and commit the fraud. For instance, He told me to go and raise a memo and give an emergency contract for flood victims. He wanted me to take an oath. He has denied that, but I want to say today, he told me up to 3 times until we had a reconciliation meeting at the villa in the house of Mr. Sadiki Abba, who is the SA to the president on domestics. In that meeting was Alhaji Mekano. He said the only condition was if I take the oath. I refused to take the oath, and I did not take that oath. And I will never take the oath from him. So he said he was going to remove me. He started a campaign of calumny against me. He said I did not answer him because the facts will speak for itself. Now, to end this matter about the procurement process, I refuse to go with him to deceive Mr. President at the FEC meeting, because the Procurement Act says if I contravene any section of the Procurement Act, is 5 years imprisonment without an option of fine. So if I go and say they should pay for the process, if you see, they say it's for 2020 budget. Akpabio went to get the approval from FEC. The 2020 budget has not even been discussed by the National Assembly till today. The 2020 budget has not been passed. However, he lied to FEC, which is the greatest embarrassment in this country, for a budget that has not been passed, for an approval to be given for that procurement. I refused to go because he wanted me to send the money for the procurement to the ministry to implement the forensic audit. I refused. I am challenging him to deny any of these allegations because I have to round up for you people. But all the facts and all that I've said are all written in my document.
Welcome back, my people. Grab your popcorn because this drama just keeps escalating. Now, some heavyweight politicians are pointing fingers at Tinubu, blaming him for Nigerians' economic chaos. Former Minister of Education, Ezekwesili, just threw some serious shade on President Bola Tinubu during her fairy interview on Channels TV Politics today. She is claiming Tinubu's administration has only made things worse, dragging the country deeper into debt and economic turmoil. Ezekwesili was straight up savage. All the data indicators shows that the Tinubu administration has been a complete disaster over the past years. If you're Nigerian, you should be enraged by this government's reckless spending. She didn't stop there. She slammed the political allies for their irresponsible use of political funds, saying we are drawing in debt. This government has a chance to fix things, but they blew it. And guess what? The tea doesn't end there. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has jumped into the mix, calling out Tinubu's headline of the subsidy removal. Atiku saying the administration messed up big time by not cautioning the effect, leading to skyrocketing fuel prices and more economic pain for Nigerians. Social media is buzzing with reactions, with many supporting Atiku and demanding rethink of the policy. Political tensions are eating up, and this saga is definitely going to shake things up in the coming days. Stay tuned as we dig deeper into this scandalous situation. We'll be right back with all the spicy details.
This country about what happened from the 1st of August, don't you think?
That's what they call stock taking. You take stock because after a while, if you have a business that you're growing, you find out whether the business is doing well, whether you're doing more of loss or more of gain. What's your balance sheet giving you? Then you will re-strategize as a company. A nation is like a company of a sort. It's a corporate entity with a government in place at the federal and some national levels. So when you find this moment of national rupture occurring, it means that social forces have been unleashed. And this unleashment of forces didn't occur overnight, not even within the Tinubu presidency. It's been there brewing for years, if not decades. But when then
so the
these
Tinubu
forces,
government just walked into the quagmire.
It's actually what I call intensification of the contradictions. Buhari intensified it, and this government is rather heightening it. That intensification of contradictions that will unleash social forces. If you look around, coming here, it was embarrassing that queues are in the filling stations. And petroleum products are not even available. Many are buying at 1,200 on the roadside.
It's actually concerning, isn't it? It's worrisome that the NPCL is not saying anything about
Absolutely.
it.
So
it's kept mute.
This is part of the social force.
What is causing it? We're not hearing, we're not getting any explanation. And I'm not sure the federal government is in fact talking about it. I'm not
expert in that sector, but the point I'm making is that these are indicators that the system is choked up. And when it's choked up, it means that forces are beginning to brew all over the place. So 1st August was one in a series of, for me, long stretch of eruptions that must be managed for the country to really get its bearing and develop.
So we could see more of agitation.
These things are scientific. When you list social forces, if you can't contain hunger, constrain poverty, you can't reduce insecurity, people can't find petroleum product, because at cutthroat prices. If they find there's a sense of angst and discontent in the land, and this is not being ameliorated, much more convulsive processes and situations will be unleashed further down the line. So it's a lesson for the government, not just at the national level. It's a lesson for the government, even at the subnational level.
But it does look like the state government and the local government wanted to shield themselves. It looked like it was a problem with the federal government, and some of us actually highlighted the fact that government is government at all strata. Every government had to come out to defend the fact that there is hardship, there is hunger in the land. So this is not a Tinubu government alone.
Let me give you an example. The Council of State made the other day and give a vote of confidence
on the president.
On the president.
And his government.
The Council of State, as powerful as that body is, because it's an advisory body made up of a club of former presidents and heads of state and so on, as powerful as that entity is in terms of the people that populate it, it is not their business to give vote of confidence, one way or the other. It's their business to assess the situation in the country and advise the president. Vote of confidence is secure from the people. That's where the mandate derives from, not from the council. So it is on poverty that's going to give vote of confidence when it is reduced. It is going to be hunger that will give vote of confidence when it is reduced. But only products will give vote of confidence when it is reduced. And we hope the government is going to work extra hard to get those things done well. I'll give you another example based on the point you raised. The governor of Bauchi State, Bola Ahmed, for example, spoke passionately and said, not only the president, but every one of us political leaders should be held accountable for what went wrong. Bauchi indeed put a robust anti-protest mechanism. But on the day, the people erupted and the governor didn't say, oh my God, this picture is not as pretty as we thought. Mr. President, are you hearing it? We at the subnational level, we're feeling the pinch and feeling the heat. Therefore, we need to work extra hard to regain the confidence of the people.
So nobody can talk any longer.
They can't talk.
Yeah, you have to face the reality.
I can talk and see what the state governors
the eruptions is going to catch up with everybody.
Absolutely. See what the state governors are doing. They are rapidly now accelerating the democratization processes at the local government level because of the Supreme Court ruling.
At least 4 or 5 states.
More than that. That means when they have those elected officers, both the chairman and the councillors, they too occupy their own democratic position to say, hello, the people who put you in are watching you. The same way they're watching the governors and watching the president, everybody is going to be under intense scrutiny.
The sky is falling, it's going to fall on anyone.
Everybody said. So the most important thing is not to say PDP or APC or NMPP or Labour Party. It is the business of the political class to ensure there is public order and social stability. But it is the business of the president and his team to organize the political order. And I said in my piece, which is trending everywhere, that the president is operating from the margins and periphery of the political state. That means he must move into the center. In 1990, Obasanjo won decisively and said, I can't even govern alone, even with my victory. I need the two other parties, AD and APP, to come and help rebuild this country already choked down by convulsions. And then he set up the Office of Inter-Party Affairs, appointed the chairman of APP, then incorporated Uncle Bola Ahmed, remember very well, as Attorney General. He brought in Adesanya's daughter, brought in Shatta of APP, ultimately Ezekwesili of AD into the cabinet, to give that sense of elite consensus, which is the first step in building national consensus.
So we need a government of national unity.
This government is narrow.
That what we need?
It's narrow. It's not even in the classic sense of government of national unity. He's got a mandate of a sort. That means he could govern the way he likes, but nobody wants to leave office as a president broken and forgotten by history. You need to leave a legacy. The way to do it is to engage, embrace the political class, embrace the political state.
You don't see the president doing any of that now.
I don't know what it is, him or people around him. It is important that he begins to listen to the people and listen to even voice of patriots all over the country. If you look at the coalition that brought him to power in 2023, that coalition is even weakening. If you look at the caste of the people and the geography of that coalition, it's weakening. That means he needs to rebuild his political, muscle all over. It happened to Clinton in 1992. He won decisively. By 1994, his presidency had virtually crumbled and collapsed. He had to reinvent it in 1996.
And his party could not even hold, they couldn't retain power.
If
the Republican Bush came in,
absolutely. So if you have the president who is operating as if policies will help the day, policies could help if the policies are populist. They're not populist. You can't remove subsidy.
Unfortunately, there are those who believe that, look, our nation needs some very strong policies, albeit very unpopular. That the policies that will take us to the next level will not be popular policies. It will take strong, decisive leaders to be able to make those policies. Unfortunately, it seems that that's what Bola Tinubu is stepping into.
The contradiction there is this. If you want to embrace populist domain, the people, you must, in essence, enunciate policy programs or prescriptions that is going to sit well with them. Whether it works in the short term or long term or mid term, it can then isolate the lead and say, I'm working with the people because that is where my power lies.
Well, anyways, their party's philosophy is welfare.
But then,
it's the left of the center.
Yeah, sure.
So when we imagine that those policies should be popular,
but then if you don't embrace the elite and alienate them, and the new liberal economic model from the Western world, from Washington and London, is the one driving you. You neither have the elite to compensate for the lack of popular support. You neither have the people because the policies are perceived to be anti-people. That means you're caught in between. You cannot, even if I take a view that you need bold, vigorous, transformative, difficult policies to move a country. If you don't get the politics right, you can't get the economics right. What is tried to do in the past one is to get the economics right, but abandoning the political space and the political state to whoever I don't know. That is why everybody who is part of the contestation of power a year ago are rioting, political riot. Atiku Abubakar PDP doesn't seem to understand, believe that this government protects the interests of his constituency in power and politics. PWB is all over the place. Congress is something. So you need to bring them and tamp down the rhetoric. It's your job as the president to do so. And people who are around you as handlers must understand that he has to pierce through the scaffold of a narrow terrain of power within the villa to embrace the outer world. That's what I'm coming.
So you need a strong political advisor.
I don't even
that will stand in the gap.
Remember what happened when the governor of Bauchi State spoke. The message from there, Dogara and the rest of said, "Oh, he's attacking the president." Oh, he's like, no, it is not. Loyal opposition means.
I saw your piece when you talk about the diatribe.
It's important because if you speak as a governor of the state, Bauchi in this instance, they said, my people are hurting and they're pointing fingers at me. They're pointing fingers at you too. You should construe that as tough love. The governor loves the system loves the state to be stable, the state to be cohesive, to be coherent. But point it out powerfully that the president and his team need to sit up the way the governors themselves need to sit up too. When we sit up at the national, subnational, and local level, when the people engage with us and we understand their pain and work towards ameliorating their pain, this country will see moments of growth and progress.
Prof, what you're saying in essence is that whatever we saw from the 1st of August is just a child's play. It's just a tip of the iceberg, and that we could see more of agitation if immediate and urgent steps are not taken.
You know what? We don't want to. As patriotic forces, myself inclusive, as one of the founding fathers, if I'm not as old enough to be a father, a founding uncles of this republic, we paid our dues from 6-time detention under Abacha. Those national security, one of the leading parties then, conferences upon conferences across the world and here to build infrastructure of democratic governance that many are tearing down. It's our duty to hold this baby firm, no matter how the baby is full of what. As I said, the first one at the political level, convene a meeting of the top leaders of this country, the party chairman of these 4 parties, the National Assembly, NAS, both the minority and majority, the chairman of Governors Forum, National, Chairman PDP Governors Forum, bring them together in the conclave, in the villa. Shut the door and tell yourself the political truth. No one party can run this country alone. No one faction of the political leader can run this country alone. Inanimate the office of the special advisor inter party affairs. Let it be almost a cabinet level position. Bring an inclusive political person there who understands the terrain and is very easy with you. Easy with Atiku, easy with the P2B, easy with Kwankwaso, and filling that gap. Let it be the one to do the legwork. Politics will continue, contestations will continue, policy differences will continue, but will be done with amity and sense of conviviality.
Well, let me bring this Patriots. The Patriots is a group, of course.
That's a different thing from Nigerian Patriots.
Absolutely, the Nigerian.
But this one is a group.
That's what
I'm part of that group.
Patriots. So, and we've seen the Professor Wabweze
in the past, FRA and
FRA Williams and the likes. But they've gone, led by Emeka Nyoku, a very well-respected Nigerian, and they are asking. Is very also important. A lot of people have debated it.
For a new constitution.
Birthing a new constitution, do you think that is
well at the level of a powerful political or nationalistic rhetoric is a wise call. But unfortunately, there was a closure in 1998 with the death of Abacha and the death of Abiola, who won election, and the coming to power of Absalami Abubakar. Abubakar met the leaders of Nadeko and said, go run election. We said, we don't need election. We don't need a constitution. We need a sovereign national conference. We need to restructure this country. He said, my people in the army do not know what you're talking about. They think you want to break up the country, but if you run an election, you win. Run on that premise. We went to form a party, AD. They gave us a constitution. We blindly accepted that constitution, thinking that in the future date, on the main future date, we could revisit that. But the closure has occurred because the president has been sworn in and parliament have been sworn in. To bring a new constitution, you must therefore do two things. Obey the laws of constitutional gravity. That means go to the text of the existing constitution and amend it as specified by it. Or disobey the law. That means destroy the constitutional state. Ujimoro did it in 1992. I will not say in public, on air.
What happened?
He won.
The consequences.
He won and didn't want the constitution. He needed a better constitution. We know what he did. In essence, to have a new constitution is not a call of the president. The president can only persuade. At the end of the day, the parliament must intervene.
But does this parliament look like the kind of parliament?
I'm saying that as passionate as the call by the Patriots I'm part of, maybe it's rhetorical. Because at the end of the day, there are three ways you can get a new constitution. You must dislodge the existing democratic order by through popular insurrection, displace it from this place and say, there's vacuum. And then you now bring in a conference with constitutive powers. 2, you can do what Fujimori did, which I will not say on air. Number 3 is to persuade the president that they're trying to do, that will persuade the parliament and persuade regional communities and nationality groups from ACF, not the Elders Forum, to PANDEF, Afenifere, must come together because the senators and reps bear loyalty substantially to them, not just to the parties. If they say no to the president and tear that document called the new constitution and use it as a toilet paper, so be it. To overwhelm it means you must overpower the constitutional state.
Anyway, there are those who will say we've had constitutional conferences in 2005 under Obasanjo. Jonathan did another in 2014.
It was not going to work.
And
this president is, and as I said, with even a weakened power base, which I'm stressing on air for the president to understand, he has a weak political infrastructure he's running with. He needs to rebuild it. He can't even go to him in a state in which the North, apparently political, not seem to be rioting. He find that the political East is still not on board. He find that the South seems to be neither here nor there. Okay, you need to have all these people politically on board. That part of presidential power we are projecting. When you're on board, and then the Patriots come with the urging for a new constitution, then it is possible that the president can flex his muscle.
Give me a moment.
Use his capital.
Yeah, give me a moment. Let's take our first break on the program. But when we return, I'll be getting the closing argument from Professor Udenta on the state of the nation. There's some very strong advisory coming from one man who have perhaps seen it all in this Fourth Republic. And when he speaks sometimes, a whole lot of wisdom comes out of him and experience too. Plus, he's a scholar. And he's done a lot of research about the way and the scientific manner in which our nation can politically and diplomatically get out of this quagmire. We'll be right back with Professor Udenta. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Professor Odenta has been speaking, and more of what he's saying tonight is the way forward for Nigeria. It seems to be a political crossroad in this country. Political crossroad, everyone will say, but we have the economic problem. We have a social and social problem. Yeah, but the politics of everything is at the center of our problem. If you get the politics right, we may be on the way into Uhuru. But Prof, how do we get there? What must the president do now?
I've simply, specified in a programmatic manner the steps and procedures. Convene, because his speech didn't contain the broadcast, no proclamation, he didn't make any presidential proclamations, no convening orders, no presidential directives. It's now time, it's not too late. The first convening directive is to engage the political leaders. And I've named them in my piece, which is all about the place. Bring in the chairman of the four parties, leading parties, the ruling party, PDP, NNPP, and Labour. Bring in their presidential candidates. Wherever they are, go find them. Whether they're insulting you, you're the president. Look for them and engage them. Bring in the governors through the chairman, Nigerian Governors Forum, and chairman PDP Governor Forum. Within them, they have virtually the entire state, minus Apuga and Labour, one here and there. When you have them, get the leadership of NAS. They should be 8 in the Senate, 8 in the reps. Sit down and work out the procedure for engaging the political state. That means you may recalibrate your cabinet, recalibrate it. Bring in people from outside, not just the loyalists. Bring in from the civil society. Bring in from opposition parties. It could be tokenism, but it works sometimes in the consensus. Secondly, Office of Inter-Party Affairs. Then civil society is key. I saw it in 2007. If you don't engage the civic center, they too are the structure of the political class, including the president and the governors. Bring them. That's why named solid people from the civic world domain, who the president should call and say, we need to have a presidential council on civil society. It's going to mainstream civil society concerns and strategic, vision into governance programming. They need to have another advisor on civic relations.
You mentioned this politically sophisticated mechanism.
It's easy. It's easy to do. We can do it.
You've worked with President Tinubu before.
Well, I have.
Do you think that political sagacity can be so calm to absorb this kind of advisory that this trajectory that you're talking about?
The strength I know about him 26 odd years ago, 25, 24 odd years ago, is that effervescent mind and ability to engage, roll the sleeve, let there be argument and disputations. Let us talk. Whatever it takes to reach consensus will wear. But over the years, as expected, he wasn't just a governor over the years. He became a former governor, became a leader of a political force in the Southwest, a member of the National Political Leading Group, helped to facilitate the president coming to power. Now he's the president himself. A lot happens. The human, can they be transformed into something beyond the human? That means, I don't know, whether it's essential that he still have the same passion for debate, for contestation of ideas as he used to have. He should have it now.
And do you think this antidote will work?
If he works reasonably, the economic dimension is going to flow with it.
All right.
If it doesn't work, the country is in serious trouble, in dire straits.
Professor Odenta, thank you so much indeed. We are at a crossroad. We need a direction, and we need a leader that will be firm enough. And I dare say, anyone that makes those tough decisions and get Nigeria working will be a legend, a hero that will never be forgotten. Absolutely. But thank you so much for your insight.
It's a pleasure to show.
This drama in Nigeria politics is reaching new heights. It all started with a bombshell reveal from a fearless lawyer who exposed Akpabio's deep-seated corruption. This isn't just another scandal. It is a full-blown political earthquake. The lawyer's revelation about Akpabio's massive money theft and his habit of threatening honest politicians have set social media ablaze. People are talking about Akpabio's arrogance, particularly his infamous "let us be there eating" remark, which only fuels the fire of public outrage. And it doesn't stop there. The heat is now shifting towards President Tinubu. Former Minister of Education Ezekwesili has stepped into the spotlight, unleashing a current of criticism. She's accusing Tinubu's administration of making Nigeria's economic crisis even worse. According to Ezekwesili, Tinubu's policy have plunged the country deeper into debt and economic ruin. Her remarks have sparked a wave of anger and frustration and among Nigerians who are now questioning the government's competencies and priorities. But hold on, the plot thickens. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar is also striking the pot by blasting Tinubu's handling of the subsidy removal. Atiku claims that Tinubu's failure to manage the policy properly has led to skyrocketing fuel prices and increased economic suffering. Social media is buzzing with reactions, and many are rallying behind Atiku's criticism, calling for urgent changes and accountability. With the insensitivity of this revelation and criticism, it's no surprise that Nigerians are starting to raise the alarm about a potential protest version 2. The country is bracing itself for another wave of mass protest as public frustration mounts and people demand real change. The political landscape is set for more drama, and we are here to keep you updated on every twist and turn. So if you're watching this or just joining us on this video, kindly like, comment, share this video across social media platforms, and also don't forget to click on the notification icon to get alerted about our next video. Bye for now.